Hey guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to level the deck on a John Deere E120. So let's get started. Alright guys, so before we get started, there's a couple of things we need to check and a couple of tools we need to break out before we actually take any measurements or make any adjustments. And first thing is we're going to want to check our tire pressure and make sure it's up to spec. So go ahead and break out that tire gauge. Go ahead and make sure that our fronts are at 14 PSI and our rear tires are at 10. Now this is important because tire pressure is going to change the height of the mower and also change the height of the deck, which is going to change those measurements whenever you take them with your deck leveling gauge. Now, while mentioning that, we are going to want a deck leveling gauge here, and if you don't have one of these guys, I will put a link in the description below where you can get one. So very important to have one of those around. And then I've also got here a ratchet with 15mm socket. Now that's the size that you're going to need to make those adjustments here on the linkages in the front and in the rear. Now you can do this with just a regular 15mm wrench, but it makes it a lot faster if we do have that socket and ratchet there. And last but not least, guys, we've got our operator manual here. I always suggest that we break this out, as this is going to have our specs for those tire pressures and also give you the step-by-step instructions on this entire process. So go ahead and have that out as well. Once you have all that, guys, now it's time to go ahead and get started. So we'll go ahead and do our first step right here, and that's going to be choosing our deck height that we're going to make our measurements with. Now, I like to go at about 3.5 here, so we're going to go ahead and lower it down to the 3.5 mark. Why I choose 3.5 is because that gives you enough room to get underneath the deck and move those blades where you need them, and it also makes it easier for taking those measurements. All right, guys, so our next step is going to be taking our first measurement. Now, we are over here on the left-hand side of the mower. Start over here because it's a little harder to get to, so we get this knocked out first so we can go over to the easier side with the opening on the next step. So first thing we're going to want to do is reach under and find that blade and get it spun to where it's pointing directly outside of the deck here, making it easy to find that point so we can take our first measurement. Now, keep in mind we've got the deck set at 3.5, so we are going to be looking for a measurement of 3.5 whenever we take our measurement underneath. So we'll go ahead and slide underneath here and actually find the tip of that blade right there. And then we will raise our gauge up till we're just touching the tip of that blade. So right there. Okay, so after taking our first measurement, we're really pretty close here, guys. We're about 3.25 there. And kind of the rule of thumb on taking these measurements and making sure these decks are level is we want to be within 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch. So we're pretty close here. If nothing else, we just need to go up just a touch. So I'm going to make just a little bit of an adjustment here. And it's going to be right back here at the back of the deck. We've got these hangers with this nut here. And we're going to go ahead and just make a little bit of adjustment to raise this up. So you're going to want to tighten these up to raise it. Just like that. And then we'll take our measurement again here. Now, it is key that you want to get to the front of that blade tip, because if you're towards the rear of the blade, you're going on the upward slope, and that's going to change what your measurement is. So make sure you're getting to the front of that blade tip. So we're going to need to go up just a little more here. All right, and right there, guys, we're about right at 3.5 there, as you can see. So after those adjustments, we're 3.5 on this side. So now it's time to move over to the right-hand side and take that measurement and make that adjustment. So now over here on the right-hand side of the mower, same process. First of all, you're going to want to find some way to keep this chute up and out of your way so you can get to the blades easier. But just go ahead and get that blade spun out to the outside here, and then you're going to go ahead and take that first measurement. So like I said, trying to find this lower, what we would call the front of the blade where the cutting edge is, finding that tip, going ahead and raising up, just touching it with our gauge there. So kind of as we would suspect, it is going to be lower than the other side because we made that adjustment bringing that side up. So then this side is going to be lower. We're just a little less there, about 3 1/8, in between 3 1/8 and 3 1/4. So we do know we're going to have to make quite a bit of an adjustment to go up to that 3 1/2. So we'll go ahead and grab our ratchet. Take our measurement again here. All right, guys, and that right there got us right to that 3 1/2 mark. So now what we're going to do is go back across to the left-hand side, check to see if we need to make any adjustments there, because since we've raised that side and this side to get to that 3 1/2, we're gonna have a little bit of variation, so we need to go back across and check that left-hand side again. So back on the left-hand side for the second time, we'll go ahead and take that measurement to see where we're at. Okay, so we moved a little bit. We're in between 3 1/4 and 3 3/8 there. So we need to go up just a touch. All right, just like that, guys, we are back to that 3 1/2 mark. So now it's time to go back across to the right-hand side, make sure things are good there, and then we'll work on the levelness from front to rear. So back across here on the right-hand side for the second time, we'll go ahead and take that measurement again, see where we're at. And right there, guys, we stayed put. We're still at 3 1/2. So we're good now on each side of the levelness from side to side. So the next step is going to be working on the levelness from front to rear. So we'll spin that blade just like that. Now what we've got to do is we've got to take two measurements. We've got to take one of the front tip and the rear tip. Now what we're looking for is we're looking for a lower front than we do the rear. We want most of the cutting to happen in the front half of the blade path there. And reason why is we want that back half higher. That way we don't cause what's called double cutting, which stresses the grass. It's not good for our grass health. So we want to make sure that our front is 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch lower than in the rear. So we'll start here. We'll reach back, take our measurement of that rear blade tip, which looks like we're about right at 3 1/2. Maybe just a tick higher. And then here in the front, we're about in the same spot. We're just a tick higher than 3 1/2 there. So what we're gonna wanna do is, we're gonna wanna make that adjustment at the front of the mower on that linkage. We're gonna make a few turns on it counterclockwise to make sure and lower that front. And then we'll come back and remeasure over here on the right-hand side to make sure that our front is lower than the rear. Here at the front of the mower, right where this linkage connects to the front of your deck, there will be this nut. This is going to be our adjustment. Just like on our rear linkages, we would go clockwise to tighten, counterclockwise to loosen or lower. So that's what we're gonna do here, is we're gonna go counterclockwise and lower this down. Okay, right there, and then now we'll go back over to the right-hand side and check to see our front to rear. So now again over here on the right-hand side, we'll go ahead and take those measurements. Now remember, we are gonna want that difference of 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch lower in the front than in the rear. So we'll take this front measurement. Okay, looks like we're just about right at 3 1/2. About 3 5/8 would be good here at the rear. So we'll see what we measure there. And that's what we've got, guys. We've got 3 5/8 at the rear, 3 1/2 at the front, and that's going to be exactly what we're looking for so we can avoid that double cut. And this is going to be the last step to getting that deck level. All right, guys, so that's the step-by-step instructions of leveling the deck on the John Deere E120. Now, like I said, very tedious process, a lot of back and forth, but it's very, very important that we're making sure that we're doing this to our mower from time to time to make sure that we're getting that cut quality that we would expect. So guys, after watching this video, if there's anything that you feel like I left out, any other questions that you have, make sure to leave those in the comments section below. And also guys, if you like this video, if this helped you out, we'd ask that you would please give us a like and a subscribe, as that helps us out as well. Now also, you saw me use a few different tools, the mower deck leveling gauge, the ratchet, the sockets. If you're needing any of those parts at all, make sure to check the link in the description below, as I will have that there for you, so you can order those. And also for any other John Deere lawnmower parts or tractor parts, make sure to go check us out at west-equip.com/parts. And one last thing, guys, if you have any questions at all and you want to reach me directly, go ahead and check in that description below, as I will have a phone number down there where you can call or text and reach me directly with those questions. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Checking our tire pressure. So go ahead and break out this thing. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and go buy your parts at west-equip.com/parts.